Here we go.
Welcome everybody. Today we are making pasta filled with butternut squash. So, but the pasta you make whenever you want pasta. And so I'm going to be making it. I've already made some so that I can easily roll it out. We're going to make the filling for it out of butternut squash. So let's start by, okay, you can make pasta with making a well in your flour and kneading it for 10 minutes and all of that. Or you can make it in a food processor. Now the food processor is what I like because it's so easy, you don't have to think about it. So in here, I've got 2 cups of regular flour, and I'm going to put in a little less than a teaspoon of salt and mix that up a little bit. Then I'm going to put into the container 3 eggs to start out with. One from my chickens, who are beginning to lay again. And a tiny little bit of water. And about a tablespoon, teaspoon, something like that. A glug of olive oil. That's it. That's all that goes into pasta dough. And I'm mixing it up. This is not the way you want it. You want a little bit more. So I'm going to I have 1 egg here that I've mixed up so that I'll put in about half and see if that is enough. Together. Look at that. It's come together and it's gorgeous. This is what it looks like. And you really don't have to knead it. You've got it pretty much together. You put it down, you form it into a ball, and you should let this sit for a half an hour at room temperature, at least a half an hour at room temperature, covered with a bowl, and it ends up looking like that. I don't know, the gluten in it does whatever gluten does, and it makes it much easier to handle, roll out, whatever. I just leave it on the counter covered up with a bowl, and you're all set. Now I'm not even going to clean this out, and I'm going to make the filling. The filling is roasted butternut squash. Now I didn't even use all of it. It's about 2 cups of it, more or less, 2 to 3 cups. And that goes into the food processor. I'm not even cleaning it out. It's okay. It'll be fine. So that goes in there. I had a little foil packet, and into that foil packet, when I was roasting the squash, I put 1 shallot that I divided in 2, and a bunch of garlic cloves and some olive oil. Folded it up, roasted it for the last 10 minutes, and that's going in there, along with a handful of nuts. Now, probably, if you want this smooth, you would put the nuts in first and smooth it out. I don't care if it's a little crunchy with the walnuts, but the walnuts make it taste good. So that goes in there. A little bit of cider vinegar, some salt, pepper, and nutmeg. And, you know, I grate the nutmeg in. You don't have to, you can use just a touch. It makes it taste good. And I think that's it. That's the filling. And you process it until it's smooth. I'm gonna, yeah, pretty good. I'll probably process it for another 15 seconds or so. And that's it for the filling. If you were making this in advance, you would put it into the refrigerator and refrigerate it. It works out great with, you know, it's easy to do. You can use it for a sauce for pasta. It's really very tasty. So there you have it. Now let's start. Oops. Let's start putting the pasta together. Okay, here we go. I love my maker. It's really a lovely thing. I've had it now for probably 15, 20 years. And I really like it. And it clips onto the edge of a table. And my trusty bench scraper. And I will be dividing this into, well, thirds. Once it's sat, it really it works out really very well. You make sure that you flour the surface and makes it very smooth and lovely. Now I have baking pan with, I'm going to cut with paper on it. I'm going to flour it to receive what I'm going to be making. You know what I forgot to put into this? I forgot to put in the sage. Beats me. Okay, so I'm going to cut up the sage to go in here. It'll be fine. It doesn't matter. It would have been better to grind it up, but I'm going to just put the sage into the filling. That's fresh sage from my garden. Okay, so here goes. We're going to roll this through the, and then we're going to keep rolling it to make it thinner. There's 2. Three. Now these are the gauges on the side of the roller. 4. And usually when I get to 4, I cut it in half. Because we're going to do 5. For both of the halves. And 6. It always says to do 7 to go to the thinnest, but I find that impossible to work with. So I've got this one. And this one. So I'm just going to use these 2 for right now to show you the technique of it. But I would do all of them if I were making it all. So here goes. I'm going to cut it into, now I'm not going to waste this. I'm going to use this for something else. But I'm going to put it into, you know, like 2 squares. Then I'm going to take my filling and put them, oh, it's about a heaping teaspoon every, oh, they're about an inch apart. And I'm on half of the piece of pasta dough. I'm going to use my finger and put around each one a little water. So I'm not doing it on this side. I'm doing it over here. Hi, Carol. Then you take this and you fold it over and do the best you can to make sure that you get all of the air out. Now, if I could find my little pizza wheel, which I cannot, I would use that. But I'm going to improvise because I can't find it. And I'm going to cut with the knife in between. And because I've got water on there, they stick together. Voila, raviolis. And you put them onto your prepared pan to make sure that it's a baking pan with the paper, and you're all set. I'm going to do it again with the other side. Again, you line up, you put your filling. It's about 1 inch apart. And this is a heaping teaspoon. You put your water onto the in between, just to make sure that it will stick. And then you carefully put it over. Try and get the air out so that there isn't an air pocket in there. And cut them out. After a while, it becomes like therapeutic. You just keep doing it. It works out. And you've got a bunch of them. Now I've got 8, which is a serving. This would be about what I'd have for dinner. 8 of them. So you just keep repeating with your dough. This will serve, probably one recipe of this will serve 4, at least 4, probably more people. With the ends, you can either re-roll them or just make yourself a weird shaped one. Maybe a triangle one, why not? Again, it doesn't matter. There you have it. So they're all set. So what I'm gonna do now these will cook. Like I said, I would continue doing this until all the dough was used up. You can probably get 25, 28. If you doubled the dough, you'd get a bunch of them, a lot more of them. Now, I have ravioli trays that I have used. You don't have to use them. They're kind of a pain in the ass to use, the ravioli trays. I always, this is the easiest way for me to do it. I don't have any problem with this, and I can do it really quickly. So, and once you start getting into it, you can do it very quickly, very easily. So, in order to serve it, and okay, you can leave these out. They can be dried for, you know, you can have them out for 2 or 3 hours. Dry them up, then throw them into the refrigerator, into the freezer on this paper. And then you have, when they're totally frozen, throw them into a bag, and you've got instant ravioli for any time you want it. You can do that. I'll show you just a second. This is a bag I made a couple of days ago when I was testing this recipe out. Just a bag of frozen ravioli. And you can use it, you can then take it out, get a handful if you want some, make a sauce for it, and you're all set. It's a really good, quick meal. Frozen, it's ready to go, and quite lovely. Frozen, it would take about 5 minutes to cook it. These, as fresh as they are, probably 3 minutes. So what do you serve them with then? Jarred pesto, that would be fine. You could serve browned butter and cheese. That would be good. What I'm going to do is do a little bit of greens with them. And so I'm going to begin to cook them right now, cook that right now. I've got a pot of boiling water.
And a sister. Wave to sister.
Wave to my sister. She's I'm heating this up. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil. When it gets a little hot, I'm going to throw in some chopped garlic. I like big chunks, so I'm going to do that. A little bit of sage. The sage is from my garden. Sage is very traditional with this. A little bit of fresh thyme. A little bit of salt. Pepper. It's sizzling a little bit. Some white wine. And you can smell, you really can smell the fresh herbs and the garlic. Now I'm going to put in the raviolis I just made. Here we go. I'm going to put in some walnuts. I have a tiny little bit of squash left over. And I'm going to throw on some spinach because I can. And I like it. The raviolis are almost done. It takes so little time to do them. And I'm going to can't flip these. It won't work. But that's all there is to it. I would put this could probably serve a couple of people with a salad. And cheese on top. Okay, Dina, you have to try it. Get yourself a fork.
It smells amazing. So I get to,
You get to try it.
it's terrible. Oh, it's really good. Mhm.
So that's basically it. If you've got them made up ahead of time, that sauce goes together in about 3 minutes. It's about the same amount of time that it takes to cook pasta.
It's really good.
So you would, and you can change it up any number of ways. You can change it up with putting cheese and like ricotta inside or spinach inside. You can change up the sauce. You can do, I made it the other day with browned butter and sage. It was a little greasy for me, but I think, but I liked this particular sauce a lot because it was very garlicky and
Light.
light.
It's light.
And you also have greens with it, which makes it a complete meal. You don't even have to, you don't have to feel bad about it. So there you have it. That is ricotta. I'm sorry, that is ravioli, butternut squash with a very simple sauce. Any questions?
I have a couple.
Okay.
First of all, you said that the leftover butternut squash mixture could be used as a sauce. Can I freeze it?
Yep, you
Okay.
sure can. You can freeze it if you want, because that's what's filling these, and they're all frozen.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it
Okay.
would definitely work. It would be fine.
And Noelle is insisting on meat, so I added ground turkey.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. These are raviolis. Raviolis can be anything you want. They're like little pies. So you can make them little meat pies. You can sauce them up with regular red sauce if you want. You know, that red sauce that I made.
Mhm.
You can do whatever you want to with them. They're just fun, and they're really good for a first course. I mean, in Italy, the pasta course comes before the main course. It's a really good first course. I would, of course, put like 4 of them and arrange them artfully or something. But you know, they're really simple. It's pretty simple, particularly if you've made them ahead of time and frozen them. It's always good. So, and raviolis are just raviolis. They're wonderful, no matter what. You can chop up, you know, onions and cabbage and put them in raviolis and they'd be fine. You know, as weird as that sounds, it would be fine. So,
Want to hear another fun thing you can do with raviolis?
talk.
There was this place when we were in Pittsburgh. It was a laundry for the mob, but they had fabulous Italian food. And if you have the meat filling, you just make them up, let them sit for an hour because pasta has to sit or it'll dissolve in the water. Put them in deep fat, fry them really fast. Like
Oh,
1 minute. Drain them, and they won't be greasy at all. And you serve them with an apricot sauce like they used to have at the Hamburger Hamlet, you know, with the zirkles.
oh my
They're to
God.
die for an appetizer.
Oh my God. I never thought of frying them like that. That's fabulous.
And then they served them to everybody for a first course. I'd never seen them before or since. I guess you got to be a mob laundry to.
Yes, you have to have, yeah, be.
What do I know?
Yeah,
But I just thought I'd add that in because sometimes it's just really fun to do that. And people go, oh my gosh, what is
I
that?
could probably do that with these.
Well, I wouldn't try. I've only done it with the meat.
Well,
I haven't tried it with something like squash. I would wonder about how it would do with deep fat frying. Could give it a whirl.
I might as well try. Why
Try
not?
it. Yeah, I've done it with ground meat.
Yeah,
You know, made the little pillows with the ground meat and sage and stuff, and then just pop them and then
there
throw
are
them
these,
in the freezer. And then instead of making a ravioli, you deep fry them for an appetizer. And people think you're just, you know,
For a way
That's
to
me
try it
out.
out, couldn't you put it in your if you have an air fryer? Wouldn't it work great in an air fryer?
oh my
I have
gosh,
no idea what an air fryer is.
Gary
that's
has one. Wouldn't it be
I
fabulous.
still use a typewriter. You know, come on.
No, in the
People-
air fryer, it would be fantastic because it would crisp them up.
I bet it'd be.
I bet that would be great.
Try that.
Okay, you've got an air fryer, right, Carrie?
I do.
Well, all right. You're a
Okay, you guys try it in an air fryer and let us know next week.
I will. I will. Absolutely.
I just, they're really fun. They're easy to do if you don't complicate them, you know, if you don't make them complicated. They're vegan. No, they're not vegan. They're vegetarian.
Right, because they have egg.
Egg.
They have eggs and cheese in them. It's just mighty fine. It's great. And I think that all of these variations sound so fabulous that we all have to try them. That's all there is to it. Anyway, so there you have it. That's what we're having. We're having this for dinner.
Bravo, Kate, bravo.
And I was thinking, how about a shrimp etouffee next week? Like a New Orleans etouffee. I made that yesterday. That was my Ash Wednesday sacrifice.
Yeah, deprivation.
Deprivation and shrimp etouffee. Okay. I am so into Catholicism right now.
Well, technically, it's not meat.
It's not meat. It's definitely not meat. But you know, if you didn't eat shrimp, you could do it with well, Trader Joe's has frozen crayfish.
Ooh.
There's frozen crayfish lumps at Trader Joe's. I use frozen shrimp, but I used it yesterday, but it turned out really mighty fine. So I would suggest that we do that next week. How's that?
That sounds fun.
That sounds wonderful.
We can suffer, we'll all suffer together.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out. Well, the problem with etouffee is it has a roux, and the roux takes a long time to cook. It's a really, it's like 10 minutes of cooking the roux. So I'm thinking that I will cook the roux in advance a little bit, and so that you're not going to be sitting there watching me stir a roux that is turning into peanut butter color. It just takes it's easy. I'm not saying it's difficult. It's just that it takes a long time.
Mhm.
And I'll include that in the recipe, but it's super cinchy to make, and it tastes mighty fine, really, really good. So and then I'll talk about how you can make a gumbo with the same sort of ingredients recipe if you so desire. So we'll do that. Thank you for being here. It was a lot of fun. I'm now going to go make the rest of my raviolis and with the dough that I've made, and I'll see you all next week.
All right, thanks, Kate. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Bye, everyone, and check out our channel if you haven't.
Oh,
Oh, YouTube.
Yes, I sent the link to the whole channel.
Oh,
That-
cool.
Great, yeah.
We
I
have
didn't have it
36, believe it or not, we have 36 videos up there.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get away with repeating anything.
Not unless I forget to record.
Yeah, that's why I did the pasta, because I've already done, I think that was the second video or third video we did, but it's in video.
Yeah.
So, but pasta is easy, easy, easy to make. It just, if you're doing it by hand, Susan, hard.
It takes a lot longer, and
Yeah.
and you make a mess. But it's fun to have I'm going to get him making pasta.
Right.
He can make pasta while he's watching games,
Yeah.
right?
So, and doing those little tortellini things, you can do that with that. It's great.
Well, that's when I make my little cappelletti and stuff for New Year's. But
I gotta say that Jamie Oliver is the one that changed my life with pasta. I always thought that pasta was something that would take all day long. And even though I made it in the food processor and I had this, I would make it would be all day. And he made it in real time on camera in 15 minutes. And I
like
was,
that.
oh my God, I can do that. And it changed my life, because then it means you can make pasta all the time if you want. It's
And
easy.
homemade pasta is a world different.
Yeah.
It's much better.
I mean, you can make tomato pasta in the fall with your, when you make boil
Or
yours down,
pasta.
spinach pasta,
Right.
mushroom pasta.
It makes lasagna have a different taste almost.
Mhm.
You make fresh pasta.
Same with linguine or spaghetti.
Right. So I've included the cheese sauce, the easy cheese sauce that goes along with this. It's part of the recipes. But the red sauce that I made for the meatballs is really good with this as well. Just whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel good. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for being here. And thank you for cooking with me.
Bon appetit.
Thanks.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you, Bonnie.
This is my favorite.